Hey, welcome to the podcast. I'm the host, Horatio, and here I have my guest, Dylan Forshner. Am I saying that right?
That's correct, yeah, Forshner, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And so this podcast, which I don't have a name for yet, is about diving into a musician's mind, creating songs, things musician related. And I know you are in a band called the Shuttlecocks and solo artist.
Yeah.
And you have your different podcast. I don't know how much we can touch on that if it's one of your projects you care about.
I can talk about the various ventures I'm a part of. Yeah, so let me know what you want to know, and I can dive in. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's promote your shows first. You got one on Feb 27 at the Old Sod, Toronto.
Yeah, that's going to be a duo acoustic set. So that's going to be my solo stuff. So Dylan Forshner plus my girlfriend Taylin, who's also a musician. So it's actually going to be our first time performing together, which is exciting. And we have a song that is going to be done as like a duet, which is one of my songs, and then we're going to be eventually recording it as a duet. So it's exciting for us. And Old Sod is where I've done my open mic for the last one of a couple open mics I go to.
Then you got another one at Bar Orwell with your band, right? Yeah, March 16th.
Yeah, we just had a band drop out and then come back in, so it's a new one come in. So it's Saturday, March 16th at Bar Orwell, and that's the Shuttlecocks, Supreme Taste Band, and Elliot Rossi Band. Are the three bands that are going to be playing there. So that's we don't have anything else booked in the future for Shuttlecocks, so that might be a bit of a break after that. We'll see. I tend to tell myself I'm going to take a break, and then I just keep booking stuff. So.
Oh, interesting. So you feel like you need a break, but then stuff comes up. It's hard to take a break.
I don't know. It's hard to say no if things are it's like something I haven't done before or something I'd like to do. It's hard to say no, so that sometimes I take on more than I probably should, and I might stress out about it. But then in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I did that. So we'll see. I'm the recording process is a little unknown for me because I've only done it with a friend of mine for What Am I Doing, and it was very casual. And now I'm working with a producer. So that whole experience is a little bit unknown as to how strenuous and how much time I'm going to need to put into it. So I'm a little hesitant to book too many gigs or anything else till I get a better grip on how much work that's going to be.
I wanted to talk to you about recording, mixing, mastering, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So do you know what you'll be doing exactly? You'll have a producer and you'll both be editing things together, recording things together?
I am technology illiterate, so I'm strictly the musician.
Okay.
So I wrote the songs, and so I have a couple different people that I'm for sure working with. So there's a producer that I'm going to be working really closely with, and he's going to both put input into the music, record it, edit it, and then we have another guy that'll do the mixing, and then potentially somebody else that'll step into the mastering, but it's all through. I'm going to be recording at Raven Tape Studios, I think that's what it's called. It's my first time doing it, so I know basically what I told you.
Hopefully it's a good experience, and you're time efficient.
Yeah, I think I felt more more confident in my music over the last year, and since I recorded the stuff I have recorded, so then I've wanted to put I don't know, I guess it's like investing in yourself, right? So it's I was okay to put a bit more money and time and things into the music because I think there's some quality there, and I want to make sure I get the best out of it. So we'll see how it goes. I should probably learn more myself, but it's
more mixing.
Recording, mixing, stuff like that. I glaze over when it comes to that stuff, so it's not it doesn't come naturally to me by any means.
I have a huge weakness in that area. I'm actually okay with technology, and I've tried a lot, and everything I make sounds so bad.
Yeah.
I make things sound bad. I don't have a talent for it at all.
But is any of the stuff that you have out, is it yours
Just one of many, and that one turned okay just by luck. I don't know what I did. I think it has two vocal layers, one like in a lower octave. I don't know, maybe that hid things. But yeah, I found a guy online, and he's like a magician. I love him so much, Ricardo Alves, and I sent him the raw things, and he does magic.
And so how are you? Are you recording at home? Like
All right. The recording. I plug into my audio interface, so the guitar I send is actually clean. He adds distortion, things like that.
Oh.
And vocals, I have a pretty good mic, and I try to do as good as I can with that. I also do.
Your stuff sounds great. Yeah, like I think I've told you probably like 5 times. I keep reposting it on my story, but I always born. So it is. Yeah.
Thank you.
I've listened to that. I've probably increased your listeners. Your listening, but just me.
I've seen it going from maybe 2 a month to 9 a month.
Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. I have one fan that I know is a real fan, other than you now, and that's also her favorite song.
Yeah, it's something about, well, it mixes a lot of styles that I like, that I think that I do in my music too. So it's like it just really hits home for me.
When I made Visitors and Always Born, I wanted to make something pleasant and that a lot of people would like. That was my goal, and I was happy with that. But yeah, now I'm in an experimental phase.
Okay, cool.
The podcast. I listened to one episode yesterday.
Oh God, now you know a lot about me.
Yes, and I had relief because you're my type of guy with being silly.
Yeah, the podcast is the best vision into who I am.
Yeah.
Like the music sounds a lot more serious. The podcast is a direct line into like how I am socially.
Yeah.
So it's that's my girlfriend. That's we weren't. It's funny. The first 3 episodes, which are out, we weren't dating yet.
Oh.
But we were like close for a long time. And like there was, it's funny as you listen to like episode 1, 2, and 3, the sexual tension like increases.
Yeah, when you were talking about a lot of ass dildo stuff, I could see the sexual tension building.
Oh, it's nuts. Yeah, but we were.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, the idea of the podcast is it's more of comedy. Like there is some music kind of thrown into it, but like the music tends to be like maybe 5 to 10 minutes. We do plug our own stuff. It's kind of like a promo for ourselves because we're both musicians, but ultimately we talk about sex and relationships and just like, I don't know, anything that we think is funny. And sometimes those things don't make any sense, but we'll talk it out and give our opinions on it.
That's the fun stuff, like sex stories. People love hearing that.
That's,
It's
going to be interesting to see how the dynamic shifts as now that we're dating and record more episodes. Honestly, we're both very open and candid people, so we'll see if it's more reserved or less reserved.
I don't see it going backwards. You guys are getting more and more comfortable.
If anything, we're more comfortable with each other now, but it's like, I don't know, you're coming from a different lens than we used to, where it's like we're kind of like always just hitting on each other, and now we're together, so it's like, I guess I'm still hitting on her all the time.
It's still fresh. And I noticed a pattern. Are you guys trying to do one a week, roughly?
We were going to do one a month. I was supposed to do one a couple days ago, so we're going to try to do one the first Monday of every month.
Let's hear from our sponsor. We have a British sponsor today. They're saying this podcast is going to be big in that market. Little Xerxes UK Facial Cream. Got a pallid complexion? Not able to get any sunshine because of the clouds and rain? Try Little Xerxes UK Facial Cream. The cream creates an inflammatory reaction in your pores, causing your skin to go into overdrive. The byproduct is a reddish glow over your face. No more Morticia Adams. Get the glow you get from drinking Sam Adams. Use promo code MUSICCRAFT TAKEOVER to get 15% off. Now back to the show. And I listened to your 2 solo songs, which are
I can tell you.
What Am I Doing and Give Me Some Love.
Yeah.
What time frame were those made in?
So What Am I Doing was like the rush to release for whatever reason. So I only started writing music in May of last year. And I wrote What Am I Doing and one other song that's not released yet, but it's going to be on my upcoming stuff. So I wrote it around middle of May. I played it for the first time with a couple musician friends, I think live at a show at the end of May, and then he was like, this is a good song, we should record it. And he happens to like do some of his own stuff, and then it was out by, I can't remember the date now, but it was in July. It was like mid-July. So it's like from the time of writing to release was like 2 months.
Okay.
Which, I realize now is very rushed. At the time, I was just like excited.
Yeah.
Oh my god, music I wrote and somebody wants to hear it, whatever. So I love it, but it's at the same time I'm like, I'm a better singer now. I'm better at certain things now, so it might get a refresh at some point. Because in hindsight, it was very rushed.
Yes.
But, the song itself, I love playing, and I've got a lot of good feedback on. And nothing in the song really needs to change.
I really like it. It's extremely catchy.
Yeah, and that's the feedback I tend to get from people is like either something is like, it's like pop music at the end of the day, like and I do write with that in my mind. Like I write with like wanting something to catch you or wanting something that you're gonna remember. So it's like I'm mixing the styles that I like with pop music. It's
cool.
Ultimately kind of what I'm thinking while I'm writing is like I want to repeat this. I want to do this, something that's traditionally pop music would do, but then I kind of bring in something that's either more grungy or something more surfy or punky or whatever it is to kind of mix it with that.
Well, that makes people happy, which is a good thing.
Makes me happy. So it was the story behind that song actually was, it was the second song I wrote. So I wrote the first song. It's my first time writing anything, and I was maybe 3 years into playing guitar at that point, and I was like, okay, I'm never going to write music. I didn't think I would. And then I wrote a different song called Under Control, and immediately after I wrote that song, I said to myself, what am I doing? Like, what the fuck am I doing? And then I was like, that's a good idea for a song. And I was in the songwriter's mode, and I just fucking put it out, and like, I think I wrote it in like 2 minutes.
Nice.
And then it hasn't changed too much. I think the only thing that really changed, the chord progression changed a little bit over time, and then I created like an outro for it.
You've probably heard some musicians say they bang out like a classic in a few minutes. Like sometimes that happens.
It's funny that some of those ones that like it just sticks and it stays and you don't do much with it. Whereas like in comparison, Give Me Some Love is a bit more of a conscious effort of me to like try to push myself a little bit more. It's like I let one thing ring out and I do like a little riff and then I play the chord, like it's like down 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 down, something like that. So that was like a big step for me. So and then I'm like trying to use different chords that aren't always traditionally used as well.
Sick. I've been there where you try to push yourself from like common major minor chords. Do you remember the name of any of them?
Yes, I use, even in What Am I Doing, I tend to use a lot of sevenths. So like one time around it'll have the major chord, and the next time around it'll have a seventh mixed in. And
oh, interesting. That changes it then, yeah.
Yeah, I do like the same. I tend to do that a lot. I like try to just like, it's the same chord progression, just with a variation, like, mixed back and forth or whatever, right? So
maybe I should do that because I often repeat parts and they're very similar. Like if I have a verse and then a verse later.
It's like the cheat code to like make it different in my head, and then make me feel like I'm not repeating too much. I'm a huge Nirvana fan, and I remember like that was a big thing, was just like it's the same thing. You don't know what he's saying half the time, but it's like it's the same thing, but the words are a little bit different, but it sounds the same. So that was always something that I picked up from him, so I always try to do something similar.
It's funny you brought up Nirvana. I actually wrote down a question. Most people have a Nirvana phase. Did you have one?
Oh, huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've exited it. Like
Nice.
especially as I was like learning guitar, I like played so much Nirvana, and we do. I've played Smells Like Teen Spirit. I've played Polly. I've played Come As You Are, like in various performances. I'm always. If I had it my way, there would be 2 Nirvana covers in every Shuttlecocks set. It's not we do jointly decide which covers we're gonna do and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah, let me touch on your band.
Yeah.
You were telling me about your solo style, and I watched parts of your show with the band, and one of the practice you have on YouTube. Can I guess the purpose? Now I don't want to sound like cocky, like I know what you guys are, but can I guess maybe the direction? You just want to have fun on stage and offer good rock music, maybe that people can enjoy at a bar. How does that sound?
Sure, yeah. Like, I think a big part of us playing is the energy. Like me and the bassist Dan, in particular, we kind of feed off each other. So like, we're always kind of excited to at least once a show. I like basically throw my head off of my body, headbanging, and then like
That's
Dan
awesome.
has a wireless bass, and he'll like last show he ran outside of the venue onto the street, and then he was on top of a table, like. So we're trying to shock a little bit with that. So that's like the punk sensibility is kind of in our attitude. A lot of
Cool.
the content is, at least the ones that I write, are more about love or lost love or seeking love. Like, I think that's like a very big theme in my stuff, as well as like mental health stuff as well. Like, kind of going. I think most people have gone through something, but it's a big writing piece for me. Is always like, there's a song called Under Control, and it's kind of about like feeling like I'm like struggling with my drinking and my mental health, and that I'm under control this time, kind of thing, right? So it's like there's a lot of themes kind of around that idea.
So it sounds with lyrics you like to get personal and kind of like a therapy, because there's a lot of different approaches. Like I feel like Kurt Cobain did more random things that maybe spur the moment, although there was some depth in some.
Yeah, I think I tend to start with something personal. That's usually what kind of gets me writing, and then I'll kind of like fabricate whatever it is into like either something more intense than it was, or like just all of a sudden there's a verse that I put in because I think it sounds cool, right? Like does nothing to do with the initial idea, right? But
And does it come easy to you writing lyrics?
I think now, because I did go through a period where I didn't write anything, and now I'm since I started writing, which is less than a year ago, I have about 10 to 12 songs, kind of like at least at some form of fully formed, like kind of in that depth. So I think I've grown to become more comfortable with the fact that I'm a good songwriter. It's still hard for me to say, or for other people to say, I guess, right? But at least my bandmates and other musicians have told me that I'm doing good. So
That's crazy that it's been a year.
Yeah,
I've been doing it a long time, and the stuff on Spotify is really nice. So you have a natural talent too.
It's definitely been, it's transformed like so much. Like it's pretty crazy.
Okay, now it's time to talk about religion and politics.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. Okay. I know we don't know each other that well, but I have a section of questions that are me trying to be funny. I'll throw them in here and there. Great. Okay, so Dylan started this group that I found through Reddit of Toronto artists, or maybe GTA area, and he created an Instagram group, and it's grown a lot of people, and I love that he's putting energy into keeping this thing going and trying to grow a community. And you know what I like, and then you have a Discord as well you created. What I like is that I'm actually not great with connecting with musicians like at shows, and I'm kind of an online guy, Discord guy, chat guy, So this kind of hit on that. So I'm very comfortable with that format. So that's awesome. So what was your purpose for that? What are you trying to achieve?
It's kind of transformed as I've been going. Definitely more traction on it than I expected when I kind of started this venture. But essentially, like, I had the original playlist for a long time. Like, I was like a big fan of the Toronto scene mostly at the time, and then now it's expanded to Ontario. But it's like I would constantly be paying attention to what the local bands were putting out, and I put it into this Ontario playlist to show support. Like, that was the ultimate goal. But what I started doing more recently is like getting those people connected with one another. I started the Instagram group where I added everybody in the playlist, and then the playlist started getting really big. So that was okay. Next logical step is to create more playlists that are more curated to specific styles. So then now I have 10 different playlists with I think I'm about 400 songs total. Most of the playlists run some of them are getting closer to like 70 songs now, but like the goal is like 100 max on the genre ones. But I don't know, it's going to keep changing. But like what I've noticed and what I've enjoyed about this venture is like people have been able to advertise their shows to one another and like connect with musicians. People have like put bills together through this group. People have shared resources. Like I was able to get my band t-shirts very quickly.
Oh, nice.
Because I was able to get a quick resource from somebody. So it's become kind of like, sometimes we joke around in there too, which is fun, but it's just become a good spot to like, I would say for the smaller to medium-sized bands for sure. Like we do have a couple slightly bigger bands in there, but they're not usually that active. But for like the people that basically don't know what they're doing, we can help each other.
Yes.
And like try to drive. I've put a bill together that we did, and like a bunch of the musicians that were in this group ended up coming to one of our shows, and it was like, it feels like a community even before I am at the show. But I'm super happy with how it's going. I think sometimes I treat it too much like a business, and I overwhelm myself with how many bands I try to add in a short period of time. But it's been cool. It's been really cool. Like, yeah, I've definitely gotten my networking skills increased via this thing, because I've just like been randomly reaching out to people, being like, "Hey, are you interested in joining this group and having your music featured in this?" Right? So
yeah,
it's been cool.
The thing you said about shows is really amazing if you think about it, about setting them up, because soon I'm going to be ready to have like a half an hour amount of material for my solo stuff. And I was worried about, I'm going to have to email random people, but I think now I can message this group, and it makes things much easier. So it really is amazing that I can do that now.
Yeah, and I've seen it with a couple bills that like, if somebody was in the same playlist, they'll like hear that music and then they'll like DM each other, and like same, I've done it. I've discovered some new music I didn't know of, and I was like, yeah, I would love to play a set with you guys. So it's like, it's good that I think it has the genre categories now, because it kind of narrows down people that you might want to play with, and like, selfishly, it's connected me to those people anyways, even if they're not part of the group.
Ooh, let's hear a little dirt. Have you had to reject someone whose music sucked?
There's been a couple that I didn't vibe with, or like it just wasn't the right. I think this used to happen a lot before I did all the genres. It used to happen more because I didn't really have a place for it, and it didn't really fit the vibe. Like, that's part of like, for example, like I like metal, but it's not my favorite, but I have a place for it now. So previously I probably would not add some of the stuff that is in the metal playlist, because it didn't really fit the vibe of the other one. It's funny listening to the big one, which I might do something about at some point, but right now it's like 400 songs, and you'll get this like sweet like love song, and then all of a sudden you'll get a metal song, and then there's like a surf rock song, and it's like, so it's like,
maybe it has a place that is maybe some people are into that. I guess it doesn't hurt to have it.
Shuffle.
Cool. Let me do some quick fire ones, and then I can let you go, if that's okay with you. Are you still a flat earther? All right. Um, could you give me advice? I'm going semi-serious.
Okay.
I use my name as my artist name, and my name is quite complicated, the last name too.
Yes.
I really fell in love with the name Elastic Ass.
Elastic ass?
When you hear that, now you can be honest and critique it. What do you think when you hear that? If you saw that on a poster.
Well, you're talking to the guy whose band is called the Shuttlecocks, so like I'm all for it. Like,
Okay.
I'm totally for it. I think the stupider the name, the more fun.
Yeah,
like
cool. Yeah, I like it because it's like a bit shocking.
Yeah.
The whole time I was thinking it's an elastic ass, like the cheek is elastic. But my friends are like, that's ridiculous. It's the asshole that's elastic. That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Which
if
side
I
of
think
the...
about how I'm interpreting it, I think it's the asshole for sure.
Okay.
But leave that to the enjoyer. The enjoyer can imagine what they think it is. Yeah.
Quick one-word reaction to two other names. Dirty Salmon.
Sexy.
Sex Meat.
That's the winner.
There's something disturbing about it, I find.
Yes, I'm really on board with sex meat.
Nice. I wanted to give you a compliment on the podcast. You guys had like great openness and rapport, because with an amateur one you don't know what to expect, probably it being mediocre, but I thought you guys were really good. And you have this like respect of each other. This sounds lame. I wrote that down.
I don't know if there's something
Which makes it good.
We're dating now, so there was always like an ease of communication between us. So
Yeah.
And I think it's reciprocal. It's like I talk for a living, so I like to think I'm good at talking, but at the end of the day, it's like you need somebody to bounce off of, and so if the other person's not going to reciprocate well, then it's not going to go as smoothly. So I think that's definitely something.
But
you realized we had until we recorded it, I think. So
nice. Yeah, you both bring something and humor. There isn't a straight guy. You're familiar with that reference?
There isn't a what?
Sometimes there's a funny person or a big personality, and then the other person's like normal. You guys both bring some.
We're more ridiculous together. Like we're both pretty ridiculous and candid people, but like we like egg each other on to like share something that we probably shouldn't share.
Awesome.
And then like we'll just keep pushing the joke further. So it's like I've definitely had people that don't get the humor, and if they shut it down, I'm gonna stop. Right, so that's the benefit.
Oh, right.
Me and Jen kind of bouncing off each other is like she rolls with the punches if I say something stupid, and she'll say something stupid right back. So.
And great job with like the interjections, with like funny little things that you interject there. I don't remember
which episode did you listen to?
The last one.
Oh god.
The extreme sex one.
That one
but I was entertained by the story about the guy who didn't look like his profile. I was like really into it. Looking forward to what happens with it.
It's gonna be. There's not gonna be much continuity with that because
No, I meant.
I think if
while I was listening,
dating, we would. Continuity onto that, but I guess that's the surprise that was not out yet to some listeners is that, whoops, we're together now.
Ooh, you should like really build it up next episode and have like a big announcement.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be sad when this podcast gets under 10 views?
This one?
Yeah.
No. I'll watch it 10 times.
Alright, sweet.
I have faith in you.
Oh. Okay, I'll try. Maybe we can end on this topic with I have a lot of stuff. Maybe we can have a part 2 in the future.
Sure.
What's it like having a musician girlfriend? Well, you guys kind of just started, so you'll get more of that. Like, how do you really value the like second opinion, or do you do your own thing? Do you help each other?
I think we're learning how to do that. So like we've I definitely value her opinion because I've been sending her my music for since we've known each other. So like that doesn't change, and I think vice versa. Like we're definitely happy to share each other's opinion. But what's kind of changing now is like she's seeing me more in my downtime as I might be trying to create. Like she's seeing a bit more of the process instead of the finished product. So it's definitely a different level of vulnerability around it. I try to be as open as I can, but it's like still trying to figure that out, like what's comfortable and what's not, where do I want her help, where do I want to do it on my own kind of thing. And we are trying to write a song together, which it's like it's an interesting process. Like I like where we're going with it, but it's like I'm so used to writing on my own that it's like, okay, now I'm like asking her to do this part, but I have to see how I don't know how her process works compared to mine.
Okay, well, thanks so much. And you said you thought about maybe some notes. Did we cover everything? Did you want to touch on anything?
That was it. Yeah, I would. If we want to just drop the dates one last time, so I'm playing Thursday, February 27th at Old Sod. That's acoustic with myself and Taylin. And then Saturday, March 16th at Bar Orwell is Shuttlecocks, Supreme Taste, and Elliot Rossi Band.
Awesome. And the name of Instagram maybe is the best place to contact you? Like maybe if you're...
So, yeah, there's 2 different ones. So there's my personal one, which is Dill's Guitar Vids, which is DYLS Guitar. Vids is VIDZ. And then the Shuttlecocks account is the Shuttlecocks Band.
Okay. Again, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, man.